Hello, welcome to the round 24 preview as the Blues are set to take on the Saints in the final game of the 2024 home and away season. We are here. Final game of the year. It could literally be the final preview of the year. That's the situation that we're in. We're in a do or die elimination finals style build up. I know that there is a possibility that if Carlton lose and Fremantle also lose, that we would still be alive and our season would be alive. But the way I'm looking at it, this is it. You win and you're in. It was a good week. It's been an interesting 2 weeks. Polar opposites. We saw the work ethic return to the Blues in an emphatic victory over the Eagles on Sunday. A road trip. A trip that ended up galvanizing the group. After a week earlier, it looked like the group was fractured or just not willing to connect and display the work ethic and the commitment and the focus to the defensive side of the game that we have seen them be able to do for most of this season. But for this, 5 to 6 week patch towards the back end of the year, we've seen the commitment levels at the very top of their game, and we saw them return against the Eagles. And I made the comment around, when you take the talent out of the team, and I think I was a little misguided in that. It's not that we didn't have talent against the Eagles last week. It was that we had removed so much talent that we rely on. And we rely on such individual brilliance at times. And it can probably be hard not to, given the quality of players that didn't play. But we were forced to get back to basics. We were forced to commit to the defensive side of the game. And all of a sudden you see a young group with an average games experience of 70 play with this desperation, this hunger, this intensity, and really this thirst for the contest. When you see multiple Carlton players at spillage, when you see multiple Carlton players tackling one player, that's when you know we're locked in. And honestly, that's all I really want to see and expect to see this week. I totally understand that we probably won't be at the best version of what this team can be when it comes to talent. But we can definitely be the best version of this team when it comes to intensity this week. And that doesn't get determined by who's available. I think most of our supporter base know that this team is the only team, Carlton is the only team that can stop Carlton from reaching its potential. We're past fearing opposition teams. I think we're past that. I think we know that we're the ones that hold the destiny in our hands with how we play, how we commit ourselves. And I think that's a good place to be. A few weeks ago, there was a bit of frustration, emotions spilt over. I know for me, I was doing so good. I really feel like I was doing so well in not letting the emotions spill over. And they did spill over a bit after the Hawks. I panicked. I thought that focus had been fractured at the worst time of the year. And then I saw it return when backs were against the wall. So, whether you believed 2 weeks ago that we could be in this position or if the season was over is irrelevant. Whether you are frustrated is irrelevant, because the reality is we can qualify for finals by beating the Saints on Sunday. It's not the most insurmountable opponent. They will be tough. Yes, you respect them. Ross Lyon, blah, blah, blah. Rowan Marshall, all Australian. Over it. Sick of it. Sick of doing it. Yes, there's always respect for the opposition. They'll be well coached. They're playing some good football. But we cannot afford as a supporter base, I don't think, to get there on Sunday and sort of sit there with that anxious, biscuit-arsed vibe. We need to fire up. It's time to fire up. I disagreed a few weeks ago with the notion that we shouldn't want to play finals. Why shouldn't we want to play finals? How can we not want to play finals? In what reality do we not want to play finals? Like that's just ridiculous in my view. It's not about papering over the cracks. Finals football is the way to win a premiership. And if you look at the context of the season, I think going into a final series, the best place to possibly be is the underdog, because it's such an even competition and it's such an even 8. You could make the case that Sydney they are going to be the first place team in the competition and they've earned that and fair enough, but they've shown weaknesses. They've shown vulnerabilities. There isn't a clear front runner right now. So it's open. And so if you're going into a final series and everyone else is writing you off because you've got injuries or you're just not in form, great. I'm hoping that there will not be a spare seat in the house. And so that means you've got to play your bit. If you've got a reserve seat, you have to return that seat or give the seat to someone that can be there. Like, it has to be hostile. I'm hoping that there's a real echo of Carlton support. I'm hoping that we don't kind of wait to the fourth quarter for the crowd to get activated. I mean, that's going to come from the defensive pressure of the team. So I'm hoping that that's activated early. And if that's activated early, then the crowd's activated early. And if the crowd's activated and the boys are defending for their lives and tackling and hunting, it promises to be one of the great days out at the football. I remember last year's game against the Saints. They laid something like 51 tackles in the half. And I remember we just withstood their best. And then we broke them eventually. And I would guess it's going to be something like that this week. We're going to get the best version of St Kilda. We're going to have to absorb, and then we're going to have to go for it. There can be no lapses in concentration. Every possession will matter. And I think finally, I know that the narrative around you only played West Coast last week is now there, even though in the morning of that game it was, you weren't the favourites to win. But more around the focus and the concentration. And I think I'd been watching the rest of the league have it, especially the teams that are, fighting for survival. And I hadn't seen us play with that fight to survive attitude. And I thought we saw that last week. So bringing that this week, it would be a famous win. It would. In terms of availability, we got the injury report last night, Tuesday night. McGovern's evidently got hamstring soreness, so he's a test. Williams is a test. Charlie Curnow, Adam Sard, these players, they're a test. If they come in, awesome. If they don't, whatever. I would love Charlie to be there. Obviously, will he be 100%? Probably not. But if he is there, I hope we don't resort back to what we had been doing the last couple of months, and that's just not using the best option. Now, naturally, Charlie Curnow in a forward line, of course you want to give him as many opportunities as possible. But I think what we learnt last week was what happens when you are unpredictable, what happens when you choose the best option down the field as opposed to the most predictable option. So if Charlie plays and he's double teamed, then I would love finally for us to use that to our advantage and force someone else to have to be double teamed or force the space in the forward line to open up for someone else. And that would mean Charlie would have to play a bit of a role, and that would mean we might not see the 6-goal game that the external wants to see. But if that's what it's going to take for us to win a game, then that's what needs to happen. I'd be surprised, honestly, if he played. I'd be surprised if Sard played. A 2-week hamstring after he's already missed a good chunk of this season with the hamstring, I'd be pretty shocked. McGovern, I don't know. We'll see. Zach Williams, I reckon, will play. I've got a feeling he'll just play. I don't think it was as serious. I am mindful of playing players that are hurt, because will that compromise their ability to hunt defensively like we need them to? And if that is the case, then I don't know if they can play, because we need that complete intensity. And we can't have anyone holding back in fear of getting injured. So that's that. From the Saints' point of view, I watched them last week. They were very impressive. They just completely ran away from Geelong. I watched Chris Scott's press conference afterwards just to get a bit of a flavour and a taste as to what had happened. And he spoke about him in a not dissimilar way to the way he spoke about us, the way we beat Geelong. And I thought that was really interesting. So, they remind me a little bit of us in some ways, where we'd get to a point in the season, finals would be out of the question, and then all of a sudden you start playing with a bit of freedom. So is this the real St Kilda? I don't know. Reality is they're in good form and they're going to give us a great test. Right now, they're playing the best version of footy that they've played all year. So I think that's a good thing. But come on, man. Come on. We win and we play finals football again. And then anything can happen. Then you start getting some players back. Then you can start believing again. And belief. The season always throws us. Supporting this club throws us. It's the highs, it's the lows. We've got potentially one more week left. The next loss that we suffer will probably be the last game that we play. So I guess the question is, are you willing to believe again? Just for one more game. Just one more. Are you willing to get hurt again? Just one more time. Who cares? We got all off season to manage and to recover. This is honestly what we wanted. Many years ago, when we were awful, when we were getting to the second half of the year and finals was out of the equation, if you had said to every one of us you'd be playing for a spot in finals, the last game of the year, you would all have taken it. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to yourselves. Don't give me the making up the numbers. Finals is important. It's the most important step before winning a premiership. You've got to play finals football. You've got to give yourself the opportunity. So let's go. One more. Let's do it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you going? If you're not going, please get in touch. We need to make sure that every seat is filled. And if we can do our bit in this community to make sure that happens, then great. Please get in touch. Otherwise, share your thoughts about this game and we'll go from there. Go Blues.